Welcome, everybody, to Board Stiff. We're talking about Board Stiff, back with the boys. We are talking about video games. We're talking about games we want to bring to the table for our peeps, our close ones, people want to bring new to the table, and those that we just want to have a lot of fun with. We're talking about games, and we're bringing one game up every episode. This week, along with Chris, Johnny, and Wiltz, we are discussing the Resistance. That's how I'm going to say it every time. Sorry, you're going to be annoyed with me, but that's how it goes. The game, you can see it back here.
That won't be the only reason.
Yeah, I know. You know that's true. So you want to be a part of it and give us your sarcastic remarks, please go to boardstiffgamer@gmail.com. Love to hear them and post them. BoardStiff4 on Twitter. Check out the past casts podcast at boardstiff.info, or just go to BoardStiff on YouTube and check us out. So, and it's funny thing is I go back and look, dude, we're morphing every show like crazy. Like one time I'll have like hair down to here, then I'll have this, and you'll have a beard, and one will be like pulled back and slicked. Of course, Wilson always looked the same, just like that. That look.
It's
right
the
there.
Progression of time.
Right? Oh wait, maybe he's not moving. Let's see.
I think he's frozen.
I think he's frozen.
Oh, there he is.
Now he moved. But
There he is moving.
it was sad that we had to think about that for a while. It's like, is Wiltz is he playing a trick on us?
Right?
What is he doing?
I thought he was doing that. There it is. All right, good. Wiltz, how you doing?
Good. What happened?
We weren't talking about you or anything. Trust me.
No,
I know
no,
you're
no.
on dial-up there in Louisiana.
That's right.
You don't even have. I don't think.
Boing, boing.
Exactly.
I'm glad he could join
Yeah,
us.
I thought it was you that was having the problem. Turns
Yes,
out it
sir.
was me.
It's
No.
you.
Usually the case.
He's using a baud rate slow. He's using a baud rate so slow you can whistle it.
Exactly.
He's between hurricanes. Lay off him.
That's fair.
Yeah.
How are
Just
you
trying
doing
to
down
pull
there?
the
You underwater
floppy
yet?
out. And,
What?
what's that?
Are you underwater yet?
No, not yet. Not yet.
That's good.
Good.
We got
Don't
one
be
more to
underwater.
worry about, and then we'll be out of the
Yeah. Right. Till
out of the
next week.
weather.
Right. All right, boys.
Right.
Let's
Storm
get to it.
28.
How we do this game is the simplicity. You know, our tons of raving fans know it and love it. It is simplicity. One being the easiest game to bring to a table and introduce to a new gamer. 10 being the hardest. Keep it away. My God, it'll turn them away forever. The other one we talk about is the dust factor. There it is, coined right here in the show by all of us, and it is 1. Giving it a rating of a 1 means it's out all the time and it's played often. 10 meaning the dust is so high in inches, millimeter. What did I call last time? Inchimeters? No, I don't know what it is.
Mini-meters, I think you said.
Mini-meters.
I think it was mini-meters.
Meters. That's,
Wasn't
what,
it mini
that's what we're
meters?
doing it by. Mini-meters, okay? So 10 being the, it never comes off the
It's
shelf.
the SI equivalent of a mini meter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shall call it mini meter.
Yeah. By the way, SI, last week we talked about this game. We pimped it, said, hey, it's coming out. And you go, oh my God, it looks like Yeoman Rand. And I sit there going, yeah, it does. I had no idea what the hell you're talking about. I had to go and Google it after we were done with this thing.
No, that was when we were playing code names.
No.
Oh
Tune
my
in
God.
next week
Oh,
or next
right.
episode.
There you go. Look at you. No, because the cover of this, you had said
Oh, the
last
cover of
time-
the Resistance. Oh,
Yes,
sorry. Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
said
No,
it,
no,
and
it
I
was
was
Jerry
like-
Ryan. That was a different Star Trek reference. That we were
Jerry,
making
that's
for
right.
Code
Because
Names.
I was going to say
Yes.
that makes more sense. So, but I did
Bring up the box. I can't see it anymore.
I did look
It's
at
like
it.
it's like this big on my screen.
Hang on there.
Oh,
Yeah.
headphone cords.
There we go. It's there. Look at her.
Yeah, she looks like she's on the bridge of the Enterprise. I mean, there's like lights and panels and stuff in the background.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. All right, we'll talk about it in a second here. All
I
right.
looked it up. That's the only
So-
good thing about this game.
No. Oh, really? Oh, and it starts.
Spoiler alert.
All right. Spoiler alert. Lock and load. All right, so let's talk about this game. We'll start since I think somebody wants to speak out quickly about it. We'll start with Chris, go to Johnny and Wiltz, and then me. So, Chris, your floor.
Simplicity is our first topic. This game is simple. It has basically, I mean, there's like 4 rules, right? Lie to your friends, piss off your friends, and deal cards to people. That's The simplicity. No,
That was 3.
that was 3. So the fourth rule is vote occasionally. All right, there we go. 4
Vote
rules. Is that what I said?
occasionally.
4 rules?
Yeah, all right.
See, Johnny is keeping me honest. No,
Well,
no,
he's the
seriously. though.
analytical person. I always make sure we go through it. now.
Seriously though, the game is, the game mechanics. This is not a strategy game. This is not a tactical game. This is not a game with rules, really. This is a social interaction game. It is all about what your poker face looks like. Don't be fooled. It is not a deduction game. It is not. Anyway, it's simple. I mean, the rules are very basic. I'm not going to go over them, but you can explain it to somebody really quickly. If
Right.
you're, we'll talk about this maybe more later, but be aware of your audience when you bring this one out, because it could be super satisfying for people who really want to plumb the psychology of their colleagues. But if you're looking
Plumb
for
the psychology.
if you're looking for a deductive, mystery solving kind of competition experience, it's not that kind of game. So
Right.
very simplicity. So I'm going to give it like a 2. I mean,
Love it.
it's so simple. Maybe it even deserves a 1, but I think I'm going to give it a 2 because I don't think
Alright.
we've given anything a 1, and I guess that would have to be like tic-tac-toe. I don't know. So
Very
2.
cool. All right. Good, Johnny.
I'm afraid to say anything. It's simple. It's got simple rules. It's more lucky with fewer players. I think the more players you have, a lot of these hidden trader games get better with more players. The Thing gets better with more players. Werewolf is better with more players. This is better with more players. So like Chris said, it's pretty simple, 2 or 3-ish. And definitely plays better with more players. I'm not sure where that would fall into the maybe that's a dust factor thing.
Right.
So I'll hold
I think
off
that's
on
a
my
great
comments
question.
about
Yes,
that.
perfect.
But his comment about be aware of your audience,
Mhm.
yeah, I was not aware of my audience when I brought this game to the table. He's
With
right
Chris,
down there.
with Chris
He
being one of
was, and
them.
he should have known better.
Right.
On my screen, he's right there. I'm not sure if he's there for everybody.
He's here for me, so I don't know.
So which
Right. Okay. All right.
yeah, we don't know what your screen looks like, so we don't know
I
which way
know.
to point.
I
So
know.
this game's so powerful. I don't know. Will, tell us what your review is from your reviews that you watched.
Yeah, I almost want to abstain because I've never played it, but Shane was nice enough to send me a 2.5-minute YouTube video, which seemed to capture all of it.
That's why I did it, because it doesn't
Yeah.
take long. To your simplicity
That'll
point.
tell you how simple it
You
looks.
should have watched the tabletop episode. They
Yeah.
did this on tabletop, and it
Yeah.
shows 5 very nice, happy, friendly people who want to cut each other's throat after half an hour.
Well,
it
that's
was,
one
it was a
thing.
wonderful experience for everybody.
You have to have at least 5, right? So
Yes.
is that the way I read it? So you
Yes.
have the master and then the 2, 2 on each side. So yeah, I mean, it looked fun. And I don't know if I'd play it a bunch, but I can't really tell you much because I haven't played it, with people. And you can
Well-
play it tabletop, which is surprising because based on the way they said to shut your eyes, and you have to trust the people
Yeah.
you're playing with. I
Right.
suppose.
So let me then dive in, moderate just a little bit on this. Then for you on this, as far as the bluff mechanic, on using simplicity as the factor. I mean, what do you think in gaming? You've played bluff games. You've looked at those things. Like, can you find that to be a value? I've talked to on the other casts I do when we talk about Scoundrels as a bluff game, right? That was a real simple version. How is simplicity a factor in this, do you think, when you talk about bluffing? Does it make it a simple thing, or is it more of a difficult thing?
Well, I think it depends on who you're playing with and how good they are at it. Bogue and I have known each other for over 30 years, so I know when he's full of crap, usually.
Which is
right off the,
never.
Which is often. But, yeah.
But not in that game.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The one we played the other night, he never bluffed. But
He never bluffed.
Yeah, which was aggravating. I think I called him on one, and it was false. But yeah, I like the bluff mechanic a little bit. I don't. Not the greatest thing I've seen, but
yeah. Cool. If you start going through the game, I think bluffing is important, but when you talk about like min-maxing, you're dealing with players that enjoy that type of thing. I mean, it's a no-starter. It's a non-starter because you really have no basis, right, to bring it. So if you bring somebody to the table that's like, yeah, that's not my bag, you're going to be turned away. I think I talked about last week, the walkaway factor. It's just not going to work. But I think to Chris's point on the social element, so everybody knows the blow up cats game or whatever the heck that's called, that I've
Exploding
played once.
Kittens.
Thank you. And the what's the other black and white card game? Come on, guys, I'm just losing it here.
Cards Against Humanity.
Thank you. So that's why you're here. Let me throw out another one. No, but those games, as being the social games.
Codenames is next episode.
Yeah, thank you. Those games are like real social, right? This is interesting because the game,
Like an anti-social game.
There you go. Perfect. The thing about this is I find this game to be a very personable game. So I think you guys each have alluded on it a little bit. Like you got to know.
Personable or personal?
Personal.
Okay, because you said personable, which implies that it's friendly, and
Well, it is. I say it's personable, as long as you're playing with people that don't get pissed off at the moment. Not like you would, Chris. You would never get pissed off at that. Personal.
I understand what I like, and I understand what I don't like.
I know, and I love you for it. So personal meaning is, and I think you guys alluded on it. Back to my point is that you got to know who you're bringing to the table. And I really do believe this is a game that is more close friend game type of game, because you do need to know the quirks of the person to even have to even bring the word strategy into the game at all, right? So if you know somebody very well, you can strategize based on them, who they are, their reactions, how they do things, and then it becomes a little more intricate. It really does. I think the game has another level. It's kind of like bogey golf versus par golf. There's a whole different game involved here, right? When you know the person deeply, the game's actually pretty engaging and pretty fun. But so bringing new people in that that don't game, they might like it. For instance, I did bring my sister, who came down, as well as her two kids, who are 7 and 9. Okay, playing this game, not violent game or whatever. To watch the interaction for everybody was fantastic. It was awesome. And that was because I knew her really well. She knew me, family, the whole 9 yards, but it's a close family scenario. I mean, even the 7-year-old, literally after about a game and a half, when he was in the middle and we did a play with the three of us went, he, me, and my sister went, and we were both spies and he wasn't. He literally, after it all failed, whatever, he literally stood up and went, "They're spies!" Just out loud. That was cool because you could see the engagement and the people that were like getting the bluff, getting the idea of it. So it was kind of cool.
Did you both fail the mission at the same time with a person that was not a spy?
Yes, because you had to. Remember, there's without going into the details of the game, that remember once you get up past 7 people at the table, you have to fail twice in the the mission to actually succeed, right? You have to fail twice.
And there's only 3 people on the mission when that happens?
Yes. So it was really interesting.
So it's really a question of whether people believe your 7-year-old cousin.
Right, which was so obvious, right? The innocence of that was fantastic. It really was. It made the night great. But the thing that we talk about is the strategies, making it complex. So the simplicity to my point is that even though, Chris, I think it's a real simple a game, I didn't quite go to the 2 level. Johnny, you were at what? What'd you guys give it?
2 or 3. Pretty simple.
2 to 3, so I put him down for 2.5.
Okay, 2.5.
And Wiltz is abstain. So.
Abstain. I'm actually going to say 4 on it because I do think that the game with each mechanic of judging and not going, do I agree or not agree, and trying to understand when you first start the game, for a new gamer, it's kind of difficult to deal with the bluffing and understand how the mechanics of the game actually worked. I found that to be really interesting because it wasn't just the bluffing, it was all those simple the mechanics that happened, but they happened collectively, and it caused some confusion, which I was surprised. It could have been my description of it, but more so I just think of how the game's designed, it did that. So I'm not going to go quite to that level of simplicity.
So do you, when you do your ranking of simplicity, so there's games with simple rules that have a lot of strategy, like chess has, 15 rules or something, like not a lot of rules.
Yeah.
But there's a ton of strategy.
Right.
How to apply those rules. So what are you
Yeah,
Are
that
you
would be
saying
higher up.
are you adding strategy in for your simplicity?
I
Because
am.
the rules are pretty
How to
simple.
play the game
I am
effectively.
because yes, or
Okay.
to play the game. I mean, to like rules are rules, and I guess it comes from
Okay.
personality trait that I could give a shit about those. Explain it to me, and let me each play 3 rounds. If I don't get it, I'm out. Right? That's me. Now others would have a different thing.
Got
They
it.
understand the rules and do that. So in my rating, it's more of like, can you get it? Can you get into it and have fun? Especially when you're talking about a social game or a
Yeah.
a more party. If you can't get
Got
that piece, that's why I didn't give it the 2. I gave it a 4 in that.
So for you,
scenario.
it's mechanics plus strategy, not just mechanics.
Right. It's the overall
Okay.
context of the game. When I play the game, I'm
Right.
playing the game and understand. So yeah, that's where I fall in.
Okay.
So then if we're going to jump around now to reverse that order, we're going to talk about Dust Factor. And I don't want to spoil it for the rest of you because I think you guys all
No, go
hit
for
it. But I
go
think,
first. Go for it.
Okay. I think the big piece of this on the Dust Factor that for me is 2 things. One is if I didn't have a cheerleader in my house that makes this his number 1 game, which happens to be my older son, he loves this game. He loves the interaction and the just everybody yelling at each other and everything. It's wonderful.
Chaos of a teenage boy.
Exactly. I mean, this game is like a 2 in my household right now. That's how crazy this game is. So from that standpoint, personal, it is. But I will tell you that when I go to rate it, I'm actually going to drop it to probably 4.5 because you have to have that 5+ group, right? And so when you talk about how often do we get the 5+ group together, even a gaming group that gets together often, the odds are 1 ain't going to make it right out of the 5 or so forth. So you're down to 4. It won't come out as much because of that situation, unless you have that cheerleader that, as soon as 5 people walk in the room and it's game night, that's the game they want to bring out to play. So the Dust Factor for me is probably about a 4.5 on it. All right, Johnny?
Is Wilson abstaining again? I thought he was.
I know, Wilson, what do you think?
Okay.
From what you heard.
I only know 4 people, and I'm one of them. So I guess it.
Wait,
I guess it's
1,
1, 2,
2,
3. So I guess it collects a lot of dust in my head.
Yeah.
That's a great
All
one.
right, I'll abstain on Wiltz's behalf here.
There you go.
Thank you.
Johnny?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's Shane. It's you need 6 or 7 for this game to really, I would say shine, but be tolerable. Really is the right term for it.
I'm sorry I ruined it for you.
No, it's it's a weird game, right? It's got it's a social, it's a party-ish game, but it's not a light game. It's not a friendly game. It's not a game that you finish and go, you don't feel
Kumbaya.
better in the
We just
end. You feel,
kumbaya
like
it,
I said,
yeah.
you're lying to each other. You're
Yeah.
frustrated, even though you don't want to be. You may be a little frustrated that you knew somebody. Like, I'm telling you, my wife is a spy. I can tell by the look on her face.
Which is the best part of the game, honestly. I love it. Yeah.
I don't know. This one never comes out for us. Honestly, I haven't had it off the shelf. I brought it to my sister-in-law's, where there's 7
If
of
you
us
want to
that play.
get into an argument with
Well,
it.
we played it, we enjoyed it, but that was it. And again, it was a mix of lighter sort of attitude towards gaming kind of people.
Yeah.
But we played it once, we were like, yeah, okay, that was all right. It wasn't a hit, and we moved on to the next game.
Gotcha.
So it's not one that comes out a lot for us.
Okay.
So I don't know, 7.
Yeah.
That's the heavy
Yeah.
dust.
I get you.
7 mini
Good
meters.
call. Yes. Mini meters. You good, Chris?
Meters. If it hasn't been perfectly clear, what my attitude towards this game is. So in all seriousness, my biggest problem with this game is not the social aspect. It's not the lying to friends. It's the fact that it doesn't feel like those social aspects and the bluffing aspects have an objective other than to screw the other guys. There's no winners in the Resistance. There's only losers in the Resistance. This is how I feel. And to be fair, I don't think I have ever played this game with more than 6 people.
Okay.
I don't know how high it goes. I think I
yeah.
played it with 6, and I guess I've watched it play with 5 a few times.
Yeah.
I think I probably only played the game once. Maybe we played it twice that night.
We
I
had
don't
6. I thought we only had 5 that night.
I thought we had 6 because I
Well-
thought your kids played. I thought we had 4 plus your kids.
Can't remember.
Anyway, so the point is, I haven't played it with 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, and maybe that's the secret. Maybe the game becomes in some way tactical. I don't know. So, like, there's not a way to improve your odds of winning other than to know the other people at the table. And, you know, if it's not perfectly clear by the fact that I'm recording a video about board games and have, you know, helicopters and X-Wings behind me, you know, I am not socially savvy. Okay, you know, so this is not a game that I even grok. You know, it's like, what am I supposed to be doing? Because there's not enough deductive information. I feel like maybe if the game were 6 rounds longer, I think I would enjoy it.
So what now? This is that's why I kind of hesitated to just jump in on it because I want to still get your factor on it.
Go for it.
But the point that I was looking at when we started this is to try to bring some kind of content without being a review of the game, right? In detail. Is to that point is that it's there. The game itself is designed very. I almost think a flaw in the sense that you're probably 90% of the time going to win when you're the spy. Meaning, like, there's not enough ways. Even if you got a group, as I just said, you have people you know really well. They just play it right one time or do something opposite or something. It's probably always a case where you're going to be frustrated unless you're a spy. Every time you start playing it, you want to be a spy because if not, you know you're going to be frustrated the whole entire game and lose.
It seems unbalanced. I mean, and maybe, like I said, maybe I'm just not, you know, I haven't played the game enough times to really comment in any useful way, but it just feels like the majority of the players at the table are doomed.
Right.
And that just doesn't seem like a fun game night. Yeah. Now, I guess the designers, standard game, one person wins and everybody loses, but you can have fun along the way. And I feel like in this game, the majority of the people sitting at the table are going to lose, and they're going to hate every minute of it. They're going to be frustrated by it.
Again, now it goes back to the point that maybe we don't want to bring a game out like that for a new gamer, right? Either because they're going to be so frustrated, they're going to do it and not like it, right? So I completely agree with that piece of that.
This is a game you play with people you know well and that you know won't be offended by playing the game.
Right.
You know, and frankly, I guess now having played it before, if I were to play it again, I could play it in that light and probably not be as attached to the game as maybe I was when I was actually trying to.
Yeah, you were trying to min-max it as soon as it came out.
I was trying to play the game. I was trying, my objective is to win, and this is how I'm supposed to win. And
that's why I think the design
is too strong, because there's nothing to min-max. There's no...
Right. No, there isn't.
There's no metrics of any kind. And anyway, I've said enough. I think if you have a social group that feel confident with each other and can take a good ribbing and can virtually stab each other in the back and still, have a drink together when you're done, go for it, but wouldn't bring this out for a new group unless you really know what you're getting yourself into. I don't find it a social game in the way that, an apples to apples.
So do you even have the game? Is it sitting on your shelf?
No, I don't own it. I think I played it at John's.
I haven't.
So this is like, I would never, if I had this game in the house, I would never play it. I mean, beyond the fact that you need 5 people to play it, and I have a hard enough time getting 2 people to sit down at a gaming table, so
that makes sense.
So yeah, so this is a 10. This is absolutely will not get played in my house.
Gotcha. The thing I want to just add to it, because your comments about that, is that I think the designers themselves realize that too. That's why they've done so many expansions of bringing other elements into the game, like the commander's commander or something, where they can see who the spies are, and they've really kind of made the game certainly not even valuable for new gamers, because the simplicity even goes out the window further, right? That's why Werewolf, which I put up there too, became more of a popular game, because there's so many options that it becomes kind of a cluster effort, just different people doing different things, like true community or something, trying to figure out who does what for the end. Where this game was a lot more simple when it first came out, but because of that, the strategy it was flawed in the sense that it was like,
it's very abstract.
Yeah.
I mean, if you peel away the name of the Resistance, I mean, the game is an abstract deduction game, right? And it's which is with social bluffing mechanics, and it's like Anyway, like I said, I don't think the game is balanced, or it needs more rounds, or it needs more constraints on the spies, like they're not allowed to lie or something. I mean, it's just the game's just I need more structure than that.
Okay.
That's the bottom line.
So I think we got that that rating and that down. So
He's
it's
a
a
big
no-go.
he's a big fan of it. You can
Yeah,
tell.
exactly. Whoop, fanboy, give it up.
if it's
All
your
right.
thing, enjoy it. It's obviously very popular.
It's
A lot of
your
people like the
thing.
game.
Do what
Chris,
you want to
enough.
do.
You've sold me. I'm going out tomorrow and buying it.
All right, good stuff, gents. Well, that was Sharp Turn Low to the Ground, nice and sweet
Yeah.
show on that. So next week,
Whose idea was it to bring this game to the podcast? Is what I want to know.
Is that me?
who's doing what?
I think I'm pointing at Shane because he told me I was
I'm
below.
trying to point it. Shane's
Okay.
that way.
Yeah,
to
is
me, by the
it? Is
way.
it? I don't know. All right. Well, I did it
Fix
just
that post.
so I could watch Chris get red in the face even more than I am.
Hey, you win some, you lose some, right, Bo?
Right. Exactly, brother. That's all right. Good show though. Good stuff.
Well,
we did
that's
this without
just
even
so-
getting into a fight or arguing. It's beautiful. What's that?
I think it's really good to talk about this game because it's so popular. It's a
Right.
social game. So somebody might say, I'm new to gaming. Let me get one of those party type social games.
Yeah.
And this is absolutely not a good game to start with
to start
No.
with at all.
No,
at all.
I think that's why it's appropriate. I agree with John. It's exactly the kind of thing we want to talk about because at face value, it, like you said, it's super popular and a lot of people seem
So
to
that's
enjoy
right.
it. And it's,
Yeah.
those people are wrong.
Yes. Good stuff.
I
right.
do. Yeah, nah.
Why? Go for it. Nope. I'm not
Oh,
stopping
no,
you. Bring
nothing.
it.
No,
Bring
no,
it.
No.
Come on, your
Nobody needs to
content is
hear more
king.
from me.
We're only about 20 minutes in, John. So go
I
for
know.
it.
Come on.
I
Let's
was- I was gonna
stretch.
say-
Vamp.
Stretch.
Vamp.
So
Come
who
on.
is this game for? Like, who does like this kind of a game? Right?
Shane's son.
Extroverts and
Teenage
more
boys.
expressive people. I mean, now I'm getting back to the whole.
Yeah. So ours is
Yeah,
Ecology
what about your
conversation.
boy, Shane, that makes him like it so much?
That's a great question, dude. I think it is the history of just the camaraderie, the family, because it's always usually a tight family thing. Bringing somebody else in is kind of weird, but you bring them one at a time, and he kind of gets the feel of us as a family and
Right.
stuff. I know it's kind of probably deep psychologically, but I do think that's the key to it. And so that he likes that. Plus, he likes the bluff concept, right? Of going at it. He loves to watch people's deductions of everything. it
I get
goes
to
through.
lie
It
to
does
my
it.
parents and it's okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is a lot
Because in
different.
our house, the number one rule since they were born is you don't lie. Period. So this is the one chance we go. Yeah, except when you're playing Resistance, go for it. Type of thing. So
It is much different with 7 because you said you usually play with like
Yeah,
7 or 8, like
it
when
is.
you have family
It is.
visiting. So
Yeah,
that does
yeah.
make it a little bit different.
it does. And that was my point: is you can go a little deeper, right, into that level when you have somebody and that there is a little strategy to
Are
it.
there still only 5 rounds to the game when
Yes.
there's 7 or 8
Yeah,
people?
that's I
I
kept
think-
looking.
So you
at
don't
this
even
thing
get
thinking,
around the table.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Well,
weird.
you can because if
Oh,
the-
if you don't,
If you vote now, but if you vote
Yeah.
no enough times,
correct.
it's just
Correct.
the idea of starting and not even being able to ever go around the table. It's just sort of
Yeah, that's
That
true
seems
too. So that you could. There's another reason why. Again, I would say not good for a newbie because he could actually not play.
they would never,
in a
they
game.
could never actually
right?
participate.
Exactly. At least
Yeah.
for the first game. If not, then next you go.
So-
Here, you start.
So you put werewolf up there, so
Yeah.
you're implying that look, if you do want to try this kind of a game that's
Yeah,
lighter,
so
that's
I
social,
tried both of them. That's a great. Yeah, appreciate that because I did play Werewolf and got into it during Gen Con too, where I played at midnight till 2 in the morning a couple nights, and it was interesting because I actually find that
That game
to
is
be
much better
better.
closer to midnight.
Yeah, it is. But it's a better game, a deductive game. It's the randomness of it is enough to where it truly is much more of a social game where I could be wrong, but let me kill you off, right? So it's more of just a game where it's rather than staring at the person going, wait, is he telling the truth, not telling the truth? It's much more of a
Yeah.
social version of Resistance.
I agree with that.
And
the stakes
and-
feel lower. I don't know. They
It's
just,
what?
The stakes are lower.
Exactly. That's my
somehow.
the
point.
stakes
Is that,
feel lower.
Even though
Exactly.
people are dying, is ultimately what is sort of happening in the game. Somehow the stakes feel lower. It's more of a spooky ghost story experience.
Exactly, and who does what, and you can kind of tell by the person. You still have the same type of, I know this person, he's telling a lie and stuff, which is fun. But I did find that the expansions of Werewolf is like way beyond. I think they're up to like, I don't know, 22 different character versions of it or something crazy where Resistance maybe have 10 or so. But they're very similar games. That's why I put them up there. So you can take a look. If you love Resistance, you got to check out Werewolf because it definitely delivers even more of an experience on that too. So good stuff. Yeah,
If
great.
you've ever gone to a convention of any kind and you've seen a lot of people sitting around on the floor in a circle late at night, that's what they're playing.
That's what
And
they're
that was
playing.
long before it ever came in a box.
Right, Werewolf, you got it exactly. So, all right. So I think Wilson, you mentioned it, or somebody did next week. Code names, right? We'll talk about that. There's going to be 2 versions. It's going to be kind of a quasi shift from video games to board games, right? Because you can do it online. But we'll talk more about that as well. So, if you want to be a part of our conversation, because we can take a moment. If somebody actually does reach out and wants to speak on it or let us know, we'll definitely mention them and their opinions on it. BoardStiffGamer@gmail.com. BoardStiff4 is Twitter for comments and sarcastic remarks, as well as join us on Discord sometimes if we play. Check it out. Join the server at BoardStiff and see if we're on and playing some games. We'd love to partake with those that do listen and enjoy the show. So, all right, that's pretty much it. Hey, Wilson, why don't you take us out since you didn't speak much on the show? Go.
How am I taking you out?
Perfect.
Do I
And
just
Done. That's a
stop
wrap.
Video?
and cut.